And good morning, everybody out in YouTube land, or wherever you may be watching, but most likely YouTube. Welcome back to the chat. We're going to get a quick morning going here. Hope everybody's doing good. We are getting slight amounts of precipitation outside. Doesn't seem to be tremendous, but everything's a little wet. That's about it. Just barely not cold enough to stick. So hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a good night. Hopefully we've recovered our issues on here and are back 5x5 on the comlink and the upload. We'll see what our feedback is here once we get rolling. But I thought I'd start out with this article. This is a pretty good one that found in CNBC yesterday. Prepper making millions selling bomb shelters to people afraid of Trump. they, they didn't back that up with any evidence, I guess you'd say necessarily, but I guess it's anecdotal with what conversations he's had with his clientele. Um, Dude makes high end bomb shelters, I guess, for lack of a better word. Bunkers is my preferred term, but hey, whatever works for you, I guess. It's really good. He's making definitely some high end structures for some high end people. He's got multi-million dollar bunkers equipped with pools and gun rooms. Well, who doesn't have a gun room, right? And has been on TV shows. He's building one for the Kardashian, Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. Like, I wonder what Kanye West has in his bunker. I never thought you'd have to ask that question, right? Pretty funny stuff. Pretty good days we're living. I guess he's definitely rolling in the dough. Good for him. Maybe Red October, somebody knows him down West S, or somebody down there in Texas knows him and can get us all hooked up. I think it said the cheapest setup was $125,000. That's just basic, I think, tornado shelter style, not even high end. So, like, talk about the weather. We were getting weather on here. I was trying to find the weather, but boom, this popped up right in the front page of the Weather Channel. And I was like, where's my weather? I had to go all the way down to the bottom to get to anything current. The whole top half section of the Weather Channel is there is no climate change debate, and it's all the examples of how supposedly the climate is changing. All the way down. Everybody knows, if you don't know, the Weather Channel founder recently passed away. He was a firm non-believer, for lack of a better word, of the climate change, the human created climate change stories, the way it was being presented, the carbon tax thing and everything else. He was a firm, he didn't believe in that. He recently passed away. And Weather Channel goes full retard left, and the whole section today is about climate change. Meanwhile, we do have weather out here. Like I said, the big band passed through. You can see it. I think you can see it on this map. I'll click through to see what we get. But the snow's moved past us. The West Coast is getting some rain and snow all over and down. It looks clear out east. See this band running right through Nevada. But I don't think the snow didn't come all the way to the valley floor, it doesn't look like. We got kind of shafted. A little bit of lake effect snow out there in Pennsylvania, Ohio, it looks like. So everybody will get some weather just in time for the weekend, probably. Wes, you're lucky. Weather wind never stops here. Yeah, I've heard stories about West Texas wind. About the same here, except it's a little bit more consistent, I think. But yeah, Wes, we were just talking about a bunker builder out there in your area. Hey, thanks, Barry. That's good to hear. I thought I fixed some problems after I was notified of some issues with our upload speeds. So hopefully everything is coming through 5x5. Once again, as I'm able to view the internal and external, etc. So that's good. But what else is going on in the world? They had that Kentucky shooting out there. I hope, Mr. M. Long, I hope that didn't affect anyone near you. That's definitely a tragic situation. Um, as many of us have said for a while, gun-free zones are just nothing but target zones. But hopefully, people will be able to recover from that. But other than the memo and the FBI undermining the functioning of our Republican form of government, trying to find other news is hit and miss. Like I talked about the Kentucky situation. They're going to recover the text messages, they say, that these 50,000 of them that somehow got disappeared. Okay, that was a long way from you, I'm long. Right. It's one of those things you hate to hear about it, yeah, but you're just, it's glad they're a ways away, but it's like, well, if they were closer, maybe I could do something about it. Tough situations. Yeah, Wes, a bunker builder. This is on the CNBC yesterday. It's posted there. You might be able to search for it. The click through link's not on the front page of the CNBC anymore, but yeah, this fella's making big multi-million-dollar bomb shelters for the rich out there in Texas. Maybe go look it up. Maybe you can get a job, or maybe he'll come build you one. I was thinking maybe, Wes, you could get us a group discount, and he'd help us out. But his name's Clyde Scott. I don't know where he works out of. But I guess business is booming since Trump got in office, and he's raking in the dough. Like I said in my election, my video after the inauguration or the day before, it's like, welcome to the club. Everybody should be doing a little bit of prepping. All right, back on Drudge. Yeah, that's right. They did have that Olympic doctor, gymnastics doctor convicted there, Barry. Yeah, that didn't even make Drudge at all. It doesn't look like. It was, I mean, kind of old dudes, just his sentence phase now, but he definitely affected a lot of people. But like you say, politicians get off scot-free. Still walking around, but he didn't do anything. He didn't get what he didn't deserve. It doesn't sound like so. That's a win. Oh, here's a good one. Smartphone camera see through walls. I think we've all seen that little gadget attachment that was on during Christmas advertising that you could hook up to your camera to be able to see through walls and stuff for pipes and stuff. Strange times, my friends. Yeah, if you'd have told somebody back when we were growing up, you can see through walls with a little phone you carry around in your pocket, people look at you like you're crazy. There was a story I wanted to get to in here. There was an earthquake in SoCal today, Orange County area. It looked like nothing big. It was a 4.0, I guess. Definitely nothing they're not used to. But here's the article I wanted to get to, talking about earthquake situation. After the Alaska earthquake, well water levels have measured the change, and this is in the Weather Channel, but it wasn't on the front. Through it's on the Drudge instead. So they've measured somehow, I guess. They probably have a constant measurement somehow, especially if city well water sources that they dropped in Florida when the earthquake happened in Alaska. Let's see how significant this was. Sensors in Fort Lauderdale and Mason near the Georgia border showed a minor change. Here's the graph they use. And I guess that would be as like they talk about the seismic waves shake the water on the other side in a way that moves it around inside the aquifer, probably moving into pockets and stuff that cause it to change. It fell from 1.42 feet to 1.31. Okay, a couple inches, measurable, not like millimeters or nothing. It's not nothing terribly small. Yeah. So measurable statistically and visually. Hey, good morning, Food Forest. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, everybody could use at least one well, right, Barry? If you could have two, it'd be even better. Having a backup. Here's some other historical evidence at the end of the story. A 5.2 in Northwest Pennsylvania in 98 made a well dry, rendered about 120 wells dry for local homes for about 3 months. And the 2002 Denali 7.9 earthquake caused a well in Wisconsin to rise 2 feet. I don't know how they tie them together, but you wouldn't. I mean, that would be like, that's biblical if you're in one area. If you don't have news, it's like, my well went dry for no reason. You're like panicking. Interesting story. And you got to figure in the old days, you didn't even know earthquakes were around the other side of the country or nothing, and your well goes dry or just goes down or whatever. Would be disconcerting to say the least. Not a lot going on locally. You had the weather coming in, higher up. Everybody's on school delays and stuff. Lots of fun in the snow. What little there is, not much. Hopefully, it continues some for the day. I had a video about the redundancy, Barry, very important. I'm not too much about the three as people sometimes go overboard with it, but there's certain things that definitely are more important than others for redundancy. I did that story yesterday about the Chuck Schumer illegals marching on his house up there. That was quite humorous to me. But they're definitely becoming unhinged and not accepting the way things are progressing in this supposed DACA debate, amnesty, and everything else. Anybody got anything from their area they're hearing about, or any thing popping up that looks significant as we cruise over here to fiscal side? Market recovered fairly well from the government shutdown. Up once again. Everybody's all happy days are here again. Everybody's giving out bonuses. Everybody's happy, bringing money back to the states, opening up. Oil just continues to creep up, over $66 now. It's pretty solid, it seems like. Yeah, Home Depot's giving out bonuses now. Everybody's saying the dollar is supposedly weaker. Which is going to make everything cost more, right? But they say it's good. Economists trying to justify it because it increases tourism and it increases people buying our stuff that we send to them because it makes it cheaper for them. In that circular argument. So we're still looking at futures, not current market. Yeah, Wes, they've been talking about Trump making a deal on DACA for a year now, right? Um, the whole DACA thing, and like I was talking about Chuck Schumer's house getting basically surrounded in the middle of the night and people chanting around him, and it's like Night of the Living Dead out there with people in that video from yesterday. If you didn't see that, go check it out. But the felons are up in arms for sure, and they're misconstruing the argument too, because you continue to hear people on the news always refer to we need a path to immigration. Well, guess what? There is a path to immigration. It's called go home, get in line like everybody else, and do it through the process, the way it is. Nobody wants to have to pay the price for their misdeeds. I'm not hopeful in a non-deal, Wes. DC usually comes around to making a deal, unfortunately, and we usually get screwed. Yeah, food forest. We talked about the flu a couple times over the last week. It's still rampant here, prevalent, I would say. The deaths from it are definitely still going up, and you got to remember the most vulnerable are the elderly and the really young. You know, five and under usually, because it is a significant disease when it hits you hard enough. Yeah, wash your hands and stay with, isolate yourself just distance wise. Yeah, here it's mostly the elderly food forest. It seems like percentage wise, it's going to be mostly the elderly. And what happens is you get the flu and you die of complications based upon other underlying health problems. With the young, it just overtakes their immune system because they're not strong enough. I don't know why you're going to Walmart, Wes. Don't go to Wally World unless it's like before Christmas. Very rarely. Try to stay away from that place. Yeah, we can talk about pandemics and flu some other day, but it's definitely a pretty significant year. Yeah, you got to remember Tip O'Neill promised Reagan the wall too, Wes, and we got amnesty and no wall and no border, really. I think I'm along the lines of what we've said in other chats before. Be careful what you wish for. A wall can keep you in as well as it keeps people out. There's other ways to minimize the effects of illegal immigration other than building the wall and without spending $20 billion or whatever. No, food forest, nothing's going to stop the flu, really. At some point in time, a pandemic will thin out the herd, if you will. Our own medicine has gotten to us. Um, we've allowed so many diseases to become weaponized on their own, basically, where they're going to find a weakness in us. They're going to continue to evolve and be able to they're able to attack us and get around medicines, and then we're really going to be in bad shape because nobody has any immune system built up to fight them. So this is kind of the news situation, folks. They're talking about Bitcoin tripling in the next year. Tagline going around. So it's pretty much a non-day. It seems like non-news day, just a little bit of weather and small earthquake. I saw on the social media friend posted that before everybody asked me about how the earthquake was. He's like, I barely even felt it. People hear earthquake in California, everybody panics or starts celebrating. Hopefully, in some ways. There was an article about there's a significant fault line running through Beverly Hills. It's like, well, that's a good place for it. We get that thing to kick off. We're set. Here, so we're going along with that flu you're talking about. They're talking about shortages of supplies at hospitals. Here on this link that goes to Pittsburgh. It's coming out of Pittsburgh, CBS local. Running short on supplies as people are overwhelming hospitals and ERs and doctors' offices and everything like that. And I remember days when we got sick, we didn't go to the ER. We might go to the doctor's office if you really, really were bad. But your mom and dad and grandma and grandpa knew how to, okay, give you some good fluids, stay hydrated type stuff, stay home, don't go anywhere. And now people are out standing in ERs together, getting everybody else sicker because they have somebody that's healthy with them getting exposed to the people next to them that are sick with probably just a slightly variation of the flu, and they get that or they get it from their loved one or whatever. But they're overwhelming these places because they have free insurance. Also, probably going to have something to do with it. Because if you're not paying for it, why would you use it responsibly? What happened? Don't want to hear about your Pure solution down here on your ad. So they have the quick test, but they're running out of tests. So they're saying twice as many as last year, but last year was a low flu year. So it's relative. If you want to look back historically, like trend line over the last 20 years, it's slightly above the average, but it's not like the worst year we've had in decades. It's nothing like that. At least not here in the United States. Now, Food Forest, you may be seeing a different trend down there. Oh, here's a related story. 3 adults in Allegheny. It's just out of Pittsburgh again. I wonder, it mentions their age because an adult is a way different from 35 to 80, 60. The big difference. And the media always hypes things up sometimes. 2 women, there it is right there. It says adults, but then in the third paragraph here, second paragraph, were all over the age of 60 and had underlying medical conditions. That's what you got to really get to when you see these stories about this stuff, which is why we're here. That's why I'm here. Help dig through this stuff a little bit. They had other problems other than just the flu. The flu just brought those things out and complicated them more. And these ads on this station are out of control. So always look for that stuff in some of those stories. What exactly was their age, and do they really dig down into what maybe some of the problems were? With that, folks, we're going to start wrapping it up. Remember to check out the cards in the top right-hand corner of your screen there under the eye icon of some channels on the YouTube you might like to go check out along with each other there in the chat room. I know Food Forest has a library of videos on permaculture and other stuff. Nothing recent, it doesn't look like, but definitely some good stuff. And Wes S is on the YouTube as well. All right, with nothing else coming out of the chat room, we might have to wrap it up for the day. Hope everybody has a good one. We're going to try to stay dry and warm. And if nothing else, go get you a bunker, right? Can't go wrong if you got you a bunker. But yeah, y'all have a good day out in the chat room. Everybody listening after the fact, hope you have a good day, and go out and live free.